All right, welcome to the quarter, and we are coming to you from Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula, Montana. The Coyotes getting set to take on the fourth-ranked Montana Grizzlies here tomorrow night in Missoula. I'm Jay Elsen, joined now by the voice of the USD Coyotes, Joe Van Goor. And Joe, we're going to talk some pregame storylines. During the show each and every week, we talk about Saturday storylines, kind of a recap of what happened. This is beforehand, so we want to take a look at some of the things that you think are important coming into this game. And number one, first and foremost, what's the most important thing in this one?
I think the Coyote offense, where Ryan Sager is going to get his second career start, but in an atmosphere that's going to be unbelievable here on Saturday night. How Ryan Sager can handle that. Of course, he's got a run game of Trevor Bama, Jordan Roberts, Jasper Sanders, and Corey Kilgore to take the pressure off there. He's got a great amount of receivers to throw to. I mean, if Ryan can kind of get into the flow early, that'll be important for the Coyote offense.
Obviously, that running game was a huge help to him last week. Put him in spots where he was able to play comfortably. Different story here this week against this Montana rush defense, which ranks very highly nationally. They're very good at stopping the run, so establishing that line of scrimmage and continuing the success the Coyotes have had on the ground going to be hugely important in this one.
Coyotes had great success against Montana at the Dakota Dome with the run game last year, and of course the Montana defense has lost a couple of linebackers that are now playing on Sundays, but a lot of those guys on the defensive line and then in the defensive backfield are back here. So if the Coyotes can get to that second level, I think that'll be a pretty good thing for their success.
What else stands out to you about this game just moving forward as we look at these pregame storylines?
I think the Montana offense, they've got great skilled people led by their senior quarterback, Jordan Johnson. He's got a great stable of running backs with Canada, and then, of course, Ellis Henderson, who is dangerous in the return game against the Coyotes and also in the receiving as well. They do have, for the most part, a young offensive line. They've got like 3 sophomores that start. I think it'll be great for the Coyote defensive line to get pressure on Jordan Johnson. They sacked him 4 times last year out of the 17 that he actually got sacked last year. Getting pressure on Jordan Johnson will be a big key.
That's the huge thing, because last year you saw he was not turnover prone whatsoever. Had only thrown 2 interceptions all year coming into that game at the Dakota Dome. Coyotes pressured him all day. He was on the run, and while he did hit some big plays over the head, the Coyotes forced him into 3 interceptions, so that was a huge part of that one. A couple of those guys that you mentioned, Jordan Johnson being one of them, he missed the game last week with a concussion. Sounds like he will be good to go in this one, which the Coyotes kind of expected all along. As far as Ellis Henderson, he's been a bit dinged up as well. They only estimate him at about 60 to 70%.
My understanding is he hasn't returned punts or kickoffs in the first 2 games, so that will be a key, especially for field position for Montana. If he can't return, I mean, that's where, you know, he broke the kickoff return for a touchdown late that beat the Coyotes 31-27.
Absolutely. And then finally in this one, Joe Glenn, the storyline is always there. When he comes back to Montana, this is a town that loves this man for what he accomplished here as a football coach, but obviously just a person as well. And so that's always a fun element to throw into these games against Montana.
And I mean, even though he's far removed from a runner-up in 2000 with the Grizz and the national championship in 2001, when we were here 2 years ago, that's where everybody was asking, how do you like Coach Glenn? How do you like Coach Glenn? Well, we love Coach Glenn. Well, we love him too. I mean, it's tough to go up against him. He's now, you know, coaching a different team here, but always a special time for him to come back here. He was here for 2 stints in the 80s with Larry Donovan, who coached with Joe Salem at South Dakota, and then the 3 years that he had great success with a runner-up and a national championship in 2001.
It's going to be a good one. Tomorrow night, University of South Dakota taking on 4th-ranked Montana here at Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula. Kickoff slated for 8 o'clock Central Time. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Elsen MidcoSN for updates throughout that game.